All right, turning from the campaign trail to our nation's capital, yesterday we caught up with New York Congresswoman Ainsley Stefanik, who's also a member of the president's impeachment defense team. What's life like on Capitol Hill for a rising Republican star? Take a look. Congresswoman, hi.
It's wonderful to have you here.
Thank you for having us. Okay, well, show us, Congresswoman, your office.
This is the chalkboard map of our district. And I know when people think of New York, they often think of New York City, but I represent the most upstate part of New York in the North Country. But the chalk allows all of the constituents to sign their name or write their town's name here. So after I greet my constituents, this is where they come to meet with me and advocate whatever issues are on their mind.
So, Elise, when people walk in your office, you have so much memorabilia. What are the things that everyone's drawn to?
The all-time favorite thing in the office is the Eruzione jersey, which is from the hockey player who scored the winning goal at the Miracle on Ice hockey game. His actual number was 21, which is my district number. So this was
flight suit.
This is a flight suit. I got to fly Top Gun. I was at the Top Gun school.
What made you want to do this?
I didn't grow up in a political family. My parents are small business owners, and I got involved in college, and I worked in the Bush administration. But I felt we needed newer voices, and young women in particular, to step up and run for office.
This is your third term.
Yes.
But this term has been very monumental for you.
But what was different this time is there were millions of Americans who were tuning in to the impeachment hearings.
So to have our Democratic colleagues say these untruthful statements just reeks of political desperation.
I wasn't towing, their narrative. I refused to accept some of the falsehoods that Adam Schiff was saying, and I really demanded accountability from my colleagues across the aisle.
So, Elise, through the impeachment hearing, you were in favor of the president, you supported him, but you haven't always voted or thought exactly the way that he does. Tax reform is a perfect example.
I keep my promises. I ran on never voting to raise taxes, and I have never voted to raise taxes.
I do want to ask you about your relationship with John Bolton, because I know that he is a dear friend of yours. After the impeachment hearing, what is that relationship like now?
I respect John Bolton, but my job was to look at the evidence that was presented, and it is very clear to me that there is no direct evidence of impeachable offenses.
What did you think about the caucuses?
Caucuses, it was an eye-opener for me. Republicans were very energized. Democrats couldn't be organized enough to actually get the data. I think they're going to have a challenge in 2020. Tonight, when the president delivers his State of the Union, agricultural issues like trade, USMCA is very important to my district.
We're heading to the State of the Union address. Elise, tell us who your guest is.
So my guest is David Fisher. He is a seventh-generation dairy farmer from Madrid, New York.
I'm really excited to see what the atmosphere in the room is, just to be part of it.
I think it'll be one of the highlights of your life. Before AOC, she was the youngest congresswoman. Yeah. She is from New York, as you saw. Right. She said, "My mom will be happy because I cleaned up my office." And she said she is the first one in her family to graduate from college, and she went to Harvard.
Wow, pretty impressive. And it's not easy to hold on to seats in New York. So every 2 years is going to be a real battle for her, raising money. But remember what the president said about her on our show? She goes, that's called a superstar. Yeah.
She doesn't always vote with the president, too, and I think New Yorkers like that about her, because tax reform was so detrimental to New Yorkers, and she voted against it.
Great job.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Nice to meet her.
Great job on her part. She's great.